Hey Bookworms!
I'm Bookmouse.
And I'm Book Kitty, and this is our BookNook. Today we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit different, because we're doing books every other week. So I will let Bookmouse explain, since it was her idea.
So what I did is went on the internet, got lost for a couple of hours, but went looking for upcoming new releases in the sci-fi fantasy categories. What's coming out in the next year, what came out in January, who can we look forward to? So we found quite a few books are coming out. Some are by authors that we weren't familiar with. Some were authors we were like, yes!
And one of them's an author that hasn't released a book in like a decade. I'm so excited. Oh my god.
So we have got quite the list for you. We're pretty much just going to go over the authors and the books. And then for selected books, we have blurbs from the book. So we're going to share some blurbs of some that caught our attention. So
let's get to it.
January 2020. I have got the list of, I believe, the top 15 releases in 2020.
January of 2020.
January 2020. And these are, again, a mix of authors. Authors we're not familiar with, but now we're interested, and some that we're like, hey, long time, famous authors. Starting with C.J. Chera. I'm probably not saying that right.
That sounds about right. I'll put him up on the screen, too.
Long-time sci-fi author, many series. I've read her other series. She has a book in her foreign novel series called Resurgence. So that came out in January. We have Genevieve Cogman, The Secret Chapter. That's also part of a series. And then Tessa Gratton has come out with Lady Hotspur, which is book 2 of a series she's working on. And then Mark Uwe Kling.
I mean, that's the best guess.
Yeah. This one's actually translated. It actually says Mark Uwe Kling translated by Quality Land. We're going to read that one to you. We have Sinan McGuire, Come Tumbling Down. Danny Toby, The God Game. That one looked pretty interesting, too.
The title sounds interesting.
The God Game. So I'm kind of interested about that. Mike Chen has A Beginning at the End. Charlene Harris. Everybody knows Suki Stackhouse, Midnight Texas. Those are two of her series that just took off like crazy. Both got made into television series. She has a book.
I did not know she wrote Midnight Texas. I watched the show.
Midnight Texas.
Haven't read the books, and I had no idea she wrote that.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
It was a great series of books. Still is. I love the books. And then
God, I wish I had nothing to do but read.
Read and
all
read
the time.
And read. So this is actually from a series that she writes about a female gunslinger in an alternate history United States.
Awesome.
So, A Longer Fall.
I'm totally into that.
S.A. Hunt has Burn the Dark coming out. Cameron Hurley has The Broken Heavens. Simon Jimenez, The Vanished Birds. William Gibson, I believe this is a book 2, and it's a long-awaited book 2 called Agency. And then here's another one that I'm really excited about. That just reading the blurb, I have to go get this book now. Tochi Onyebuchi has come out with Riot Baby. So that one, we'll read the description for that one for you. And then we have K.J. Parker, Prosper's Demon. Not Dream, Prosper's Demon. And then Charles Yu, Interior Chinatown. So these are the top 15 books that released in January.
In the sci-fi and fantasy
Sci-fi fantasy category. Like I said, there were quite a few that had blurbs that just really caught my attention.
And we'll get to the blurbs at the second half of our video in case there are those who just want the list. Well, with that said, let's get right to our other list.
Right.
The other list that we have prepared for you today is the top 25 most anticipated fantasy and sci-fi books of 2020. So some of these are already released in January and what little of February we've got so far. And some of them are still yet to be released this year. And I'm kind of excited because this is the list that I looked at. And that's the list that she looked at. So, like, that was the first time I was hearing that list. And, well, this is not the first time she's hearing this list because she looked them up. But, anyway, I'm really excited. Okay. So these are not in any particular order other than release date. So none of them are like, oh, this one's more anticipated than the other.
Yeah.
We're just going by release date. So ones that are already released so far, we have Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie McLemore, and that was released January 14th. We have Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera, also January 14th. And again, Riot Baby has made it on this list as well by Tochi Origuchi. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Miss, I've been to Japan for so many years. Okay. And that one was released January 21st. And then we have The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood, February 11th. So that's like real soon because I think today's the 7th that we're recording on. So by the time this is out, the book will have been released. The next one we have is Docile, which, let me tell you, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
And like conspiracy theory scary. Like that's the kind of scary it sounds to me. But that one is by K.M. Zapara, I think. But like I said, I'm going to put the names on the screen so they can read it as well as hear our butchered pronunciations, which is being released March 3rd. And we have House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, also being released March 3rd. The Electric Air by Victoria Lee on March 17th. So, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
At least it's not the Ides of March. The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin on March 24th. Then we have Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth on April 7th. Now, some of you may know that Veronica Roth wrote the Divergent series, and I personally haven't seen anything since then. I don't know if she's written anything since then, and I just have missed it because I'm not really up on the new stuff. But I'm really anticipating this one.
And the blurb on this one was interesting.
It did sound really good. This is one we're going to read later in the video, so stick around if you want to hear about it. Then we have the Last Emperor by John Scalzi. Sorry, I'm looking down a lot, guys. These names are ridiculous. And that's being released April 14th. And then we have Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. I like the last name a lot. And that's being released April 28th. And then, I don't know if some of you have heard that this one's coming out yet, but Suzanne Collins, the author of The Hunger Games, is coming out with a prequel to The Hunger Games. They're actually calling it Hunger Games Book 0. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, to be released on May 19th. And I'm really excited about that one. I'm sure my daughter will be too. She dressed up as Katniss for Halloween.
Oh, wow.
And she was so proud that her picture, she's like, I was in character. I'm like, honey, that's not just Halloween costuming. That's cosplay. And you are my daughter. Harold the Ninth by Tamsin Muir on June 2nd. Apparently this is at least a book 2.
Yes.
And then is Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, being released June 2nd. Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas on June 9th. A Peculiar Peril, The Misadventures of Jonathan Lambshead by Jeff Vandermeer on July 7th. It's a really long name. The Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal on July 14th. And this one I found interesting because I've only read the title. I haven't read the blurb on this one because I don't actually know if it's going to be fiction or not. But it says Beowulf, a New Translation.
Well, it's going to be fiction. I read the blurb. This is good. So one of the comments that they made in the blurb was, this isn't just your hero kills monster, monster's mama kicks hero's ass book. It's a retelling of the story of Beowulf from Mama's point of view.
Oh. New interpretation, new perspective. I love perspective.
All right.
Okay. Oh, but anyway, that one is by Maria Devana Headley, being released August 25th. Oh, there's a long list. I only got a few left. The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson on August 4th. Then we have a Desolation Called Peace by Arcady Martine on September 15th. Piranesi, I think, by Susanna Clark on September 15th. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by somebody that I have been anticipating writing another book for a long-ass time. Christopher Paolini, the author of The Inheritance Cycle. We waited so long for book 4, and then I haven't seen anything of him since he released book 4. And now he's releasing a new book on September 15th, which is a week before my birthday.
Gift ideas.
To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. And that just, the title itself grabs me. I'm like, yeah. And then our last one on this list is Stormlight, which is archive book number 4 by Brandon Sanderson on November 17th.
So there's a lot of stuff coming out
There's
this year.
a lot of stuff coming out this year, a lot of new stuff, a lot of continuations, prequels, oh my gosh, and authors that haven't put anything out in a long time that I think they're going to have some pretty good... I wouldn't be surprised if Paolini and Sanderson made the bestseller list.
I wouldn't either.
Real
And then
quickly.
the interesting thing, too, is several of the blurbs mentioned that this was the author's first adult book. They normally write for a different genre, such as young adult or younger. So it'd be interesting to see their first attempt at a different demographic.
For sure. And I believe you had a theory about that their readers are growing
I
up.
did. Think about it. If you've written young adult for a really long time, you've got a fan base, but then your fan base is aging, your fan base's interest is changing. Maybe you're changing with them to keep them going, to keep them happy, to keep them...
Well, your already produced young adult books are grabbing the new young adults.
And you can stay with them as they grow and
like a
change.
Montessori school teacher.
Yeah, you just stay with them as they grow.
If you haven't heard of Montessori schools and understand why my reference here, you should probably Google it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So as promised, here we go with some of our favorite or more interesting blurbs. We chose 10, I think, between the maybe 10 or 11 between the two of us to kind of just give you some blurbs.
Yeah, dig a little deeper, get you hooked. So the first one I picked was Riot Baby by Tochi Onobuchi. So on this one, I actually have 2 different blurbs. I'm going to kind of mesh them. The first review, which came off of Tor's website, Tochi Onobuchi is one of the smartest people I know and has crafted a world so elegant and exciting, I want to personally shove this book into everyone's hands. Not a joke. If you see me on the street going up to strangers and sneakily putting Riot Baby into their bags, don't be surprised. So that's the writer who is...
Actually, that's probably an ARC reader.
Probably
The advanced reader copy
yeah.
reader.
So basically, Ella has a bunch of special talents. The ability to see the fates and the futures of the people around her. She can travel from place to place, move undetected, and destroy things with a thought. Her brother Kev wants to protect her, but when he's jailed, she works to keep him sane by showing him the future and the state of the world outside of his cell walls. Publishers Weekly gave the book a starred review, saying, Onyebuchi's unexpected, hopeful ending is just as powerful as his unflinching, heartbreaking depictions of racism and cruelty. This staggering story is a political speculative fiction at its best. So,
Wow,
I think
that sounds like a really deep book.
I think this is going to be one of those polarizing books.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really looking forward to this. Something
Don't
about
be
it.
surprised if you see a video later in the year with that book.
Yeah, this may be one of my picks. So that's the first one I picked.
First one I picked, if you couldn't tell from when I was reading the list, was Christopher Paolini's To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. This is a very, very short description, and it doesn't even have a cover yet. It says cover to be revealed, so I'm a little bit,
You're going to be watching the internet.
just a little bit. The writer of Aragon is back with a galaxy-spanning sci-fi adventure centered around discovery and first contact. The story kicks off when xenobiologist Kira Naveras finds an unexpected alien relic and evolves into a tale full of everything we love about science fiction. Paolini is a master storyteller, and this one is sure to become another necessary read. So it doesn't have a whole lot of blurb about the book, but it sounds like he's trying to be a little secretive with it. Plus, it doesn't come out till September, so he's got some time to release that description and the cover and whatnot.
Build up the excitement.
But let me tell you, it's building already. What you got?
Okay, so I want to check out Docile by K.M.
That was on my list too.
Sapara. The cover is kind of interesting. It's a person in like a tuxedo knelt down, but his face has been erased. So it's a little different. And I'm just, there is no consent under capitalism is the tagline underneath.
God, that just hit me in the realism gut.
Right? So, okay. Here's what you need to know about Docile. It takes place in a near to feel comfortable future, where debt is inherited by family members, but can be worked off, though. Let's just say it. Servitude. Elisha makes the choice to become a docile for a man named Alex, who happens to be heir to the company who makes Dosaline, the drug that keeps dociles under control. So this isn't just you volunteering. You're being controlled while you're doing the service.
You know, there's some people that think the chemtrails are doing exactly that already.
Oh, well, what unfolds is a messy, anti-capitalist, pro-human rights epic sexiness. I wouldn't do Docile the disservice of comparing it to that other well-known kink narrative. It is much more complex to this than that. All I can say is, hold on to your collars, kids. So I'm like, just the cover was intriguing. They erase it. Basically, when you erase a face, you're erasing an identity.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're
taking away the individualism
and then when it talks about how your consent is not required under capitalism, it makes me wonder what the society has done to twist things. So my brain's already going 100 miles an hour. This one is definitely one I want to check out.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be too real for me.
Yeah, possibly, but yeah, I'm going to check this one out.
As we've already established, I like reading for escapism, not realism.
So,
I have done things like Feed that really could happen, but like some things just get a little too close to home. Like
they do, and then we were just joking that I have a type. I tend to go for the dystopian novels of wake up, people, because it's coming. Get your shit together now, or you're looking at this in the future. So I like those novels. I like seeing where somebody's projecting current events to go. And this I'm going to have to add to my list.
My second most anticipated of 2020 from this list, because there could be more that I haven't heard about yet, is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. My boyfriend would judge me, and does judge me, for liking The Hunger Games. He says it's terrible writing. I don't think so. One of the things he stated was that there was, I think it's the first book, one of the characters says something about the coal, or something about coal becoming diamonds, but it was wrong. I can't remember the quote. I'll have to look it up. Maybe I'll put it on the screen. But he read it as the author was stupid, and I read it as no. The people are misinformed.
They're being repressed and misinformed.
Exactly.
An uneducated populace is easier to control.
And honestly, I really think that means she's that much of a better writer.
Yes.
Because she's putting herself really into the shoes of somebody who's misinformed and who's essentially controlled by the government. So I'm really looking forward to The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, but let's get right to it. Katniss Everdeen took the world by storm in the Hunger Games trilogy, a story about rebellion in the face of a government that demanded human sacrifice, disparity, and fear. In this new book, we revisit the world of Panem, 64 years earlier for the 10th Hunger Games. I'm excited to read more about how Panem came to be so damn terrible, and just how different the games were at the start. More anti-fascist dystopia? I volunteer.
So this one's really set ahead of the series.
Yeah, 64 years earlier. It's the 10th Hunger Games, so still very new after the Hunger Games start.
So maybe we can start to see how they devolved into what Katniss suffered.
Yeah, Man, I can only imagine the cast of characters. I mean, throughout those books, we had Rue, we had Katniss, we had the sister. Oh my God. Primrose. My main character in my book is Prem, so I couldn't remember because I'm so focused on Primrose, and all of these characters that we just absolutely fell in love with. And it's a whole cast. So I can't wait to see
who we meet in this book.
Yeah.
The next one we're taking a look at is called The God Game. It is by Danny Toby, and the description caught me. Not necessarily, well, I mean, this looks like digitization when you have corrupted programming, which, considering it's involving an AI, corrupted programming. So, in the near future, Charlie and his friends are invited to a new video game, run by an artificial intelligence that believes it's God. At first, it seems cool. They complete missions using their phones and AR glasses, earning expensive tech and some money for the rewards. But the missions become more cruel, with deadly consequences as the AI demands that they worship and obey it. Publishers Weekly says, the heartlessness on display may put off some readers, but fans of AI run amok should relish this one. So this is probably a not light reading.
Yeah.
If you're not into the hardcore description squeamishness.
It's a word now.
Squeamy. So I'm getting the impression that this book may have some cruelty in it that is maybe a little realistic for readers. But that, again, I have a type, dystopian, twisted things controlling you, and how do we overcome it? So I'm actually looking forward to seeing if the library can get that one for me.
So the next one that I chose to look at the blurb of is by the author of the Divergent series, Veronica Roth. It's called Chosen Ones. Sorry, not The Chosen Ones. And this is what Tor says. And if any of you are wondering, Tor is a publishing house, so that's where these lists came from. And what's nice is they didn't just stick to their own published books.
No.
They went through all of them. So that is our source here. You know what I love? A novel that flips a trope on its head so completely, we're forced to rethink everything we know. Whoever wrote that is in my head. That's what Roth is doing with Chosen Ones, a story about 5 teenagers who have already saved the world and have to get back to real life afterwards. And that's where it hooked me.
Uh-huh.
But of course, that isn't so easy. Roth is a magician when it comes to well-crafted dystopias, and this is her first book for adults. I honestly can't wait to see how this story deals with fame, trauma, mental health, and the fate of the world. And seriously, whoever wrote that is in my head, because I'm right there with you. I do love a novel that flips a trope. I love a novel that will explore a trope from a different perspective, like they've already saved the world, now how do they continue? Or, the love story, but from the perspective of the third wheel, or something like that.
Yeah.
Those things are interesting to me, so I can't wait for this book. I really can't.
And oddly enough, I never saw the movies, but I read the first 2 or 3
The
books.
books were made way better.
And I enjoyed the books. I mean, they were supposed to be young adult, but I thought they were well written. They were well crafted with the movement of the characters and the pace of the story. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, too. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Okay, I want you to do this one next, because it's just too great.
Okay. We're going to skip our order here for a second. So, apparently we're both anticipating The Unspoken Name by A.K. Larkwood. And it's the first sentence of the blurb that got me. It's not the title, it's not the book cover, it's not the whole blurb, it's the very first sentence. Do I have to say anything other than hot lady orcs to get you interested in this one? No, you do not. No, I didn't think so. Our protagonist, Kaswari, that's my best pronunciation, thinks she knows what fate has in store for her. She's set to be the sacrifice for the Shrine of the Unspoken. But when a powerful mage comes along and offers her a choice, life becomes way more than she imagined it could be, and way more complicated. Larkwood's prose will catch you hook, line, and sinker, and just when you thought you couldn't get invested in a new series, The Unspoken Name is sure to swoop in and make you think again. It's epic in the true sense of the word, and truly just... It literally says chef's kiss. But that's the cover there. It's a little bit small. Maybe I'll put it on the screen if it's not visible enough. And this is all black and white, so sorry about that. But printers.
Yeah. So
Hot Lady Orcs, I'm in, dude. I'm in. I've been waiting for somebody to do an orc theme that's not so monstrous.
Or, you know,
a little off.
Meat, orc, smash.
Yeah. I can't speak properly and we have no women.
Yeah.
I'm sick of that trope. Like, Tolkien did a great job with it, don't get me wrong. But, like, I want to see something different with a creature like that. I really do.
So that could be really interesting. My next one is Quality Land, a novel by Mark Uwe Kling, translated by Jamie Cyril Romanelli. It's a very strange cover, bar covers, the biggest company.
It looks like an Amazon box.
It does. It really does. And I mean, it even has this side up, the biggest company, the perfect algorithm. What could possibly go wrong?
I wouldn't be surprised if it ain't based on.
So in the nation of Quality Land, citizens are ranked by an automated system that gives them social and employment opportunities and matches them up with the best partners and connects them with products they need the most before they know they need them. Peter Jobless is a scrapper who cannot bear to destroy imperfect machines and accidentally becomes the leader of robotic refugees and misfits. But then he gets a product delivered to his workshop from the shop. He knows it's wrong, but returning it would mean that Quality Land's perfect algorithm is wrong, potentially shaking the nation to its foundation.
Dude, that sounds like it could really happen. Like, we're already halfway there. It's already predicting what we want before we want them.
Facebook, all these websites you go to, just based on what you look at, you have ads running.
Just based on what you say when your phone is nearby.
Oh, yeah. And then, what is it, Amazon? Other people who looked at this item also looked at, you know, take a look. People who bought this also bought this. So, you know, you got a society that's...
I mean, there's that meme about, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's that meme where it was, like, orders pajamas on Amazon and then goes to bed. And then halfway through the night, there's somebody walking in your room and dressing you in pajamas. And it's like, it's part of Amazon now. Just go with it. Just let it happen. Seriously, though.
Yeah.
For real.
No.
So our lists are a little uneven. I have 2 more left and she's done. So I'm just going to go ahead and plow right through. The last 2 that I have is A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. And the description reads, you know what we love? Stories about female friendship. She ain't wrong.
No.
You know what we love even more? When those 2 friends are young black women trying to make their way in the world. Still not wrong. Even more than that, when one of them is a siren and the other one is being haunted by her past. Yep. Yep, she right. When the murder of another siren shocks the world, Tavia must protect her secret. With Effie at her side, the 2 girls fight to keep each other safe and sane in a story about friendship, legacy, and magic. Morrow's debut, Mem, her first book, I'm guessing, knocked me full on my ass, and this one will do no less for you. So it sounds like this is the author's second book.
Okay.
Like, not in the series, but just second book.
Second book.
So, really excited for that one.
That one really looks interesting.
So, the last one that I have, and again, these are in no particular order, except for the first few. The first few, I was like, nope, these I'm anticipating first. The rest of them are in no particular order. The last one that I do have to share with you is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. And this is what it says. Okay, just hear me out. Trans boy Eadril summons a ghost and then can't get rid of him. Now, said ghost Julian is determined to cause some trouble while he has the opportunity. Yeah, we love a bad boy, especially a stupid hot Latinx ghost boy. Cemetery Boys is giving us everything. Brujeria, romance, hijinks, and real heartwarming friendship. This one is just what your heart needs right now, and it absolutely cannot be in my hands soon enough.
It does really look interesting.
That sounds interesting, I think, is the best word for it.
It does. Like, enough of a mix of, to really want to check that out and see what happens.
Yeah. When it comes to covers, titles, summaries, all of them play a part. Excuse me. All of them play a part in whether I want to pick up the book and read it or not.
Well, we've talked about this.
About judging a book by a cover.
Sometimes the cover is just so different. It grabs you.
Or so bad
That it grabs you, and you just got to pick up the back and see what the hell is this about.
and then you gotta hide the cover from yourself to read it.
Yeah, so some of these covers are interesting. I mean, some of them you just can't get the punch because, again, I had to print it in black and white. But some of these covers are just really vibrant, and I think we may have found these on our own walking through the bookstore or the library.
Yeah.
But it is nice to see some of our favorite authors coming back around. We have actually got quite a bit coming up this year to, percolate in the brain and think about what we want to add to our reading lists.
Oh, I've already got more books that I want to add to the list too that aren't in this video, like that I just kind of found, like Girls of Storm and Shadow. Oh. By the way, y'all, last week we did a video on Girls of Paper and Fire, and I found out while I was doing the video editing that there is a second book already out called Girls of Storm and Shadow, and there's a third one on the way.
So, and we both gave that one 4 paws up. Mm-hmm. That was an amazing book. So,
so we have that series we have to continue, and still Hex Hall as well.
Yep.
Hex Hall's like 6 books, I think, or 7.
And we've gotten book 1 and 2 and done.
So, thanks for joining us today.
Next week, we are going to be doing a review of The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. I've already read it.
Don't forget to check the description below where I will list where you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Patreon.
And with Patreon, you can become a patron at as little as $3.
You can join us for all sorts of fun shit, like early access to our weekly videos,
behind-the-scenes footage, shout-outs, and bloopers.
And if you become a patron at any tier, you can gain exclusive access to our live chat community.
As always, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and ring the bell so you're always informed when we post new content.
We post videos weekly, Mondays at 2 p.m. Central, and sometimes on Tuesdays and Saturdays when we have just a little bit more to say.
Well, that's it for this week. This has been Book Mouse.
And I'm Book Kitty, and we are now signing off.